guys, it's Bailey. Welcome back to the channel and thanks so much for tuning in. It is time to talk favorites again. I'm gonna walk through the makeup products that I have been using and loving throughout the month of August and actually talk about some of the products that I'm gonna make it a priority to use in the month of September. It's kind of a small batch this month and a lot of repeats because I just haven't been changing things up, but all that will change in September because all of these beauty sales had me spending money like I don't have enough makeup already, and so I'm gonna talk about some of the things that I bought and let me know, in addition to reviews and like my thoughts and opinions about them, obviously, if you want to see tutorials or roundups or whatever it is. I just want to touch on some of that so that you guys know it's on my radar. It's going to be coming up here on the channel soon, but I really want to know what you want to know about these things. So let's go ahead and dive in. So first, let's talk about foundation, and while we're at it, concealer, because these two are repeats from the past like 3 months of favorites videos. So at the risk of boring you, I'm just going to glaze over this. The Natasha Denona Foundation X has been my go-to. I am in the shade 40 Neutral Light, but I talked in my Sephora VIB recommendation video about purchasing the lighter shade so I can continue to wear this in the winter. And ultimately I decided against it because I discovered this by doing a throwback tutorial. I've been trying to get really into those lately so that I can reach back to those old favorites in my collection, put them back in the spotlight because they're palettes that so many of us have, but I know tend to get lost in the shuffle of all the new launches. So I've been trying to do that and use lots of other throwback products in the process. That's where I discovered this, and as I was about to purchase a replacement or a lighter version, I thought, you know, what other foundations could I rediscover if I gave them a shot? So instead of buying yet another one of these, I'm going to attempt to reach back in my collection and rediscover one that I loved. That doesn't mean that I have not purchased new foundation though, because if you saw it in my recent full face wear test of Colourpop stuff, you'll remember I didn't have a foundation. So in the interest of actually having a full face, and then for my follow-up video, which is going to be like a top 5, bottom 5 from the brand, I really felt the need to have the foundation in here. So I did in fact buy this, and that's what I'm wearing today, as a matter of fact, because I started testing it the second it arrived. All of that is a really long-winded way to say that while I love my Foundation X, probably will not be using it into the cooler months, especially as I lose my tan, but hopefully it means I rediscover some old favorites. And then the concealer is obviously the Tarte Shape Tape. The concealer I don't tend to have to change as frequently, if at all, compared to foundation, so this I probably will continue using, although now that I think about how old it is, it probably could use a replacement, but I think I'll continue to play roulette with that. I don't know, we'll see. It's still what I've been loving. My shade, by the way, is light neutral. Speaking of Colourpop, and one thing that I actually didn't use but did mention in that full face wear test I posted a couple weeks back was the I Think I Love You eyeshadow palette, and instead I used some of the more traditional Super Shock shadow formulas, but this has really been a go-to for me because of the color palette. I mean, the color palette itself. It's full of neutrals, a mixture of mattes and shimmers. I'm a big fan of going very simple with a matte in the crease. Sorry, I feel like this is very distracting how metallic it is, but just want to give you a good look at the shades here. You get the point. Love a good matte in the crease, shimmer across the lid. It's just one of the easiest texture and color combinations you can go with for a put together yet simple eyeshadow look. So this is what I've been loving and using. However, like I said, in the badness of all of the recent makeup sales out there, I will likely not be using this a whole lot in the near future because here's what's on deck. At Ulta, I got 2 palettes during the 10 times point sale. The Afrique by Juvia's Place is my second Juvia's Place palette, and frankly, the first palette I had didn't get enough love. They're phenomenal eyeshadow. I mean, everyone knows this. It's a fantastic brand. The eyeshadow quality is so there. And this was an unusual color palette for me to reach for, but it is such an interesting mixture of shades, like lots of bold primaries in here, but then you still have some shimmery neutrals to balance it all out, and just something about it attracted me to it. There is also the yellow shade in here called Aya, and I have been on a mission to try a bunch of different yellow eyeshadows, but they're surprisingly hard to come across. I feel like they're very hot to have in palettes right now, but there aren't a lot of singles out there, and I think it was way back when I did top emerald green eyeshadows that you guys had mentioned wanting to see a pick for yellow shadows, but they're just harder to come by. So in addition to picking this, not just for the color palette, but for the yellow in there, I also picked up the Smashbox Covershot Sunlit Yellow eyeshadow palette, which also has a beautiful bold yellow shadow up top. And then of course, not to mention what looks like a really fantastic duochrome shade, this deep teal. It just really spoke to me in terms of color palettes. And then, in case you thought I was done with the yellows, and no, after I got done filming my Sephora VIB recommendations video telling you it was in my cart to buy. I went back on the Sephora site and the Dominique Lemonade palette had, I don't think it was there before I filmed that video, but either way, I discovered that it was on the site, and so I got it with my discount. And here you have more of a mustard or marigold kind of yellow in addition to this light shimmery golden yellow. And so between these three palettes and a couple of other yellow shadows that I have, I feel like I have a good selection. I just need the time now to sit down and use them. And that's gonna be way easier said than done because in addition to all of those eyeshadow palettes, look what came in the mail today. These are the palettes that Emily Noel came out with in collaboration with Makeup Revolution. Obviously I had to purchase them. They literally arrived in the mail today, and I almost did my shadow today with the Wants palette because it's such a really fantastic color selection. It's certainly right up my alley in terms of the emeralds, the green, teal, and purpley berries in here. I love that color palette. But I wanted to have time to play with it. But ultimately, I don't have a lot of time to film this video, and I really want to be able to sit down and play with this and explore different color combinations and just, you know, when you get a new palette, you just want to sit and play. I didn't quite have that today, so it was a faster pace, but in general, have a lot of stuff that I have got to get to using and testing. Oh, but in case you are wondering what is on my eyes and pretty much the rest of my face, this is something else I picked up in the Ulta 10 times point sale. It is the Nude Stick Soft and Smoky palette, and this is the set of, not eyeshadow pencils, but like makeup pencils that Melissa Alatorre, I think that's how you say her last name. I'll link her channel down in the description bar so you can see how it's spelled without me butchering the pronunciation, and go subscribe to her in case you haven't already because she's one of my favorite YouTubers out there. And this palette is definitely what I associate her with in terms like a super classic but easy feeling smoky eye and a bold berry lip. The lip I am wearing, and I recently talked about or showed this in an Instagram post, is the Intense Matte Lip and Cheek Pencil in the shade Raven, which I think is going to be awesome going into the fall. And then on the cheeks, like the name suggested, you can use the lip pencils also on your cheeks. So the other crayon that comes in this set is the shade Purity, and that's what's on my cheeks right now for blush. I'm also wearing bronzer and highlight. Highlight I'll talk about later. And then on my eyes, it's a one and done shadow stick. Let me remember what shade I was wearing. I think it's this shade Twilight All Over, which is this beautiful kind of mid-tone shimmery taupe. You don't realize how deep it's going to be in looking at the pencil until it's on your eyes. And then on the inner corner, I just use a teensy little bit of the shade Nudity, just as an inner corner highlight. But then there are also two matte eye pencil shades that come in this, so you have the flexibility to go matte, all shimmery, or a combo of both. And so I want to do like a separate video where I go through all of these because I was totally new to the Nude Sticks brands before trying this, and now I'm kind of in love with the formula, like especially as far as eyeshadow sticks go. They are so creamy to apply. They give you enough time to blend with an eyeshadow brush, especially in the crease is where I find I do most of my blending. But once they dry down, I have not worn these with an eye primer once, and they have not creased or faded or anything like that. Like, it's just a really nice formula, which is also in part another reason why I got these, because I want to do another, like an updated roundup of stick eyeshadows. I had one from a couple years back, and some of those I'm sure are no longer around. New formulas have launched, and so I just want to do an updated version of one of those. So I got this collection, and then I also got a Sephora brand eyeshadow stick that I still have yet to try, mostly because I'm kind of hooked on this. So next, let's talk lashes. The mascara that I've been loving has been the same for the past few months. It's the Butter London Stroke of Wild Volumizing Mascara. But this month in particular, I have rediscovered my love of half lashes, and it all started with the Jennifer Lopez Inglot eyelashes. I actually think I'm using them wrong, but it helped me rediscover my love of half lashes, so I'm not mad at this. These are the style, what style are these? J801. I say I think I'm using them wrong because if you go look online, maybe I'll put a picture right here because mine have since been used and taken apart. But basically each eye comes with an inner lash and an outer lash, and it did not for me make sense to wear both on each eye and essentially wearing 4 half lashes on both of my eyes. So what I did is I split it up, and I took from one of these both lashes and applied them in my outer corners because both of those had like a flare, and I just couldn't imagine on my inner corner wearing a lash with a long flare, and so I just split them up and applied them to my outer corner, and it made me realize First of all, how much easier half lashes are to apply. You don't have to worry about your inner corner sticking, because that's my number one reason for not liking false lashes, is that they don't stick. If they do stick, they irritate my inner corner, my eyes water, and then they end up not sticking. And so it's just a little bit of a hassle for me. And this made me realize that the half lash eliminates the hassle. It's easier to apply them, in my opinion, but they just do so much for your eyes in the way of lifting. So I am wearing half lashes today, but they are not the JLo lashes, in an effort to try some different half lashes, because if you guys had asked for a video that is soon to come about half lashes, the ones I like, how to apply them, etc. I ordered quite a few half lashes to put to the test. So the ones that I'm wearing today, I actually really like. They are the Ardell Magnetic Accents, and you might hear half lashes being called accent lashes as well. So I ordered the Ardell Magnetic Accents as well as just the regular accents, and I've kind of been hooked on the magnetic accents because it means you don't have to worry about lash glue. I've done a whole video here about magnetic lashes before, and I actually was surprised at how easy it was to learn how to apply them, and you really get fast at applying them once you get the hang of it. But I hadn't actually tried the half lash, which I am more in love with than the full lash. It's not really a surprise to me. So expect a video coming on that, and just for the time being, I've been loving half lashes. I feel like I've been talking for so long now, but just a few more products to talk about, I promise. First up are the brows. So for the past few months, I have been loving the CoverGirl Soft Brown, nope, that's the shade, the Ultrafine Brow Pencil. This is actually the second one of these that I am on right now. But again, that recent Colourpop video, in an attempt to try a full face of products, I bought their brow pencil. I think it's just called Brow Pencil, in the shade Bangin' Brunette in Colourpop, by the way, and Soft Brown, like I said, in CoverGirl. And in practice, they really are the same thing. They're just like these super thin brow pencils. I really like them because it's easy to get distinct hair-like looking strokes, where I tend to have the more sparse brows up here, and yet you can get a really nice crisp line as you fill in this outer thinner tail area. With a thicker pencil, sometimes I just get a little chunkier brow that I'd like out there, and so this helps me do both with one product. So in that Colourpop video, I said I wasn't sure in terms of pricing how comparable the two are. The Colourpop is $6 and the CoverGirl is between $6 and $8 depending on where you buy it, if you have a discount, if there's a coupon, etc. But what I didn't know about the CoverGirl was how much product was in here. So I looked online to see how many ounces you get of product in the CoverGirl, and it's 0.01, whereas in the Colourpop it's 0.003 ounces. So you get, even though the CoverGirl is slightly more expensive, you get far more product in it compared to the Colourpop. So while I really like these, I do think that after I'm done with the Colourpop, I will still continue to stick with my CoverGirl, which, I mean, they're both favorites, but in terms of cost efficiency, CoverGirl's the way to go for me. And last up is highlighter. I recently reviewed the new Glazin highlighting gels from Butter London. They sent me both of the new shades that they have, and I have personally really been loving the shade Champagne. It's what I'm wearing today on my cheeks, but the shade Chandelier is also equally gorgeous. It's just a little bit brighter and more pinky leaning than Champagne. I don't notice them disturbing the makeup underneath like my foundation. I powdered over top of my liquid foundation, and they didn't, you know, make it splotchy or break apart or cakey or anything like that. It's just a really nice, soft, thin liquid gel formula. I mean, it's like a thin gel is what I'll say, compared to kind of a product fail I had this month, which are the Colourpop Jelly Much shadows. Beautiful on the eyes, but they made my eyes itch, and just compared to the two formulas, the Jelly Pop gels is a much thicker gel than the Butter London, just by comparison for reference. So yeah, those are all of my favorites. I thought this was gonna be a lot shorter video because I didn't have a whole lot of products to talk about, but I think in spilling everything about the products that I have yet to use and plan to use in September, that added a lot of time, and it made me realize I gotta get to work. I gotta try some stuff. So as always, I would love to hear what products you have been using for the past month or just been loving lately in general. Let me know in the comments below, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and I will catch you in the next video. Bye, guys.